I don't know if those last two burned my 3 notifications within a 24-hour period window, but regardless, I can't check the audio on this. I'm using a microphone that I got from my number one fan. The one that I tried to use the other day, but I'm going live from my phone. Maybe it'll be smoother. And with the microphone, the audio will be cleaner, right? It's not too active here. So don't necessarily need noise cancellation as much as I do, but I ended up privating the two earlier just because I wasn't fully thinking or aware of the circumstances of today when I was like, let's see what the alchemy of the storm is about. Because, there are many who are affected by Hurricane Helene here in the States. And now, is it Milford or something like that? There's another one that's about to hit Florida. I know Steph says she's preparing for it earlier. I've seen something that was like, it might intensify. So I was like, it was a failure on my part. So I apologize. It was tasteless. But yeah, I went looking just to see what the alchemy of the storm would be like. Oh, look, there's smoke. Because today is October 7th, 2024, which means that October 7th, 2023 was a full year ago now. And things have just escalated. What's interesting is I saw a few things yesterday or the day before that was like, be mindful to separate the people from the actions of like a few, because not all people support the actions of the few, right? Or whatever. So we're gonna get, I got the watermelon alchemy. I actually want to get 3. I'll do 4. I'll do 2 from each half of the deck. We'll get these first. I'm going to give it a few shuffles and then pull the top and bottom. Unless I get 2 cards that come out before there. And I'm only taking 2. Unless 1 falls out, then I will take that 1 and finish the shuffle. If any more than 2 come out, I will set those cards aside. And, whatever. Ouch. All right. Let's give it 3 more. And this is the last one. Top is the Ace of Swords, the Heir of Aries. Aries has been so present and so prevalent in like all of these. Lots of aces. And then the Wheel of Fortune. Interesting. I gotta set these off to the side because I have limited real estate today or tonight. There's something here about sensitivity and subtlety. Because it's like the wind start to blow in this Ace of Swords before the wheel starts to turn. Interesting. The Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter. I'll give it 5 over here. Justice and the 3 of Wands at the cut. Ten of Swords and Justice. We saw the the Ten of Swords earlier. Ten of Swords and the Sun. And it was like an acupuncture type energy. All right. That was 2, 3, 4, 5. Top of the deck is the Five of Wands. Fires of Leo. Bottom of the deck is the Six of Wands and the Fire of Virgo. We saw a lot of the sixes earlier today. Six of Coins is at the bottom, which is the Earth of Virgo. It was a lot of sixes, lots of Virgonian energy, apparently. What's at the bottom over here? The Seven of Wands, Five of Wands, Six of Wands, Seven of Wands. So there's this like fire that is sweeping from Leo to Libra. Leo, Virgo, Libra. It's also interesting. We get air, Wheel of Fortune, and then these two cards of fire. So there's some alchemy that takes place between what's the Wheel of Fortune here? I feel like the alchemy takes place between the fire of Leo and Virgo. And then the Ace of Swords and this Wheel of Fortune is sensitive enough to see the forces behind whatever this alchemy is. It's like it whips people into a frenzy, almost. The last time we saw the Five of Wands, I believe it was after the Emperor. And it represented like all of the stuff that people try to do to be the next emperor. We're back in our calmer energies. That was a little fiery today. I was also mentioning earlier how if there's one element that'll pop up in my dreams, it'll be fire. Like the element of fire is so heavily present. I mean, there are dreams of water, definitely. A few dreams of air. I don't even know what a dream of earth would be like because it's earth. Is that like the everyday, day to day dream? But there's been a lot of fire, and a lot of times when it comes to elemental purging, like the element of fire will be the first of the four. But in some dreams, like I wake up before we get to the other ones. Last night, I had a dream that the neighbor's house was on fire. I knew that the neighbor's house was on fire, so I went and I warned him. I was like, "Hey, like, get out of the house before it burns down." And when I was inside the house, I didn't see the fire, but I knew that there was a fire somewhere. And I told the eldest sister, I was like, "The house is on fire. Like, you might want to evacuate." And she was like, "I don't see the fire." I was like, "Okay, I'm not going to sit here inside the house and argue with you. I'm going to get out." And we were outside, and then I heard her like scream, like she started screaming. And I went back in the house, and then like the fire was there and like closer to her door. Now, it wasn't raging at this point. It was definitely there, but she could have like walked out of the room because it wasn't, again, like while the fire was present, it didn't engulf like the entrance or whatever. Like I walked into the room. I was like, "Oh, like if you hurry up and get out now, Like, you can just walk out, but she was hysterical. She couldn't break the window. She was like, help me break the window so I can get out through the window. So we broke the window and then she got out. That's a dream I had last night. Calcification in ash. It's looking very warm, that calcification. And even like when I did the alchemy earlier, like the riddle came out first and foremost. And it felt like I wasn't supposed to continue. I was like, well, let me ask Google. Also, my phone could die because I have this microphone plugged up. So hopefully it doesn't, but it could. Um, and then the stream, it disconnected and reconnected. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to keep going because every time it's been disconnecting and reconnecting lately, the stream will pick back up. But it didn't. It just kept buffering. So I had to start a new stream. Fog and Uranus. Fog and Uranus actually came out at the cut earlier. And because it was the feeling of like the fog of Neptune is creeping in closer to Earth. Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. It moved from Neptune to Uranus, so it's getting closer to the Earth, closer to the sun. It could be, well, we don't know what the final destination of the fog is or what the nature of the fog is. If the fog is moving from Neptune to the sun, Earth is in its path. I feel like that's important for some reason. Like, I think sometimes we can be so self-centered in a non super egotistical way. Just like, it's like, again, the fog could be moving from Neptune to the sun, but since we're in the way, we feel like it's coming after us or coming. It is coming towards us, but it's not us that it's concerned with moving toward. It's moving towards the sun, and we just happen to be like in the way. We happen to be on that path. This chaos. This is so interesting. It's so interesting because earlier I saw 51 in the wild unknown archetypes, and I was like, I feel like I've seen 51. And then I looked in the book, and it was this massive confusion chaos, and I was like, no, we didn't see chaos yet, but now here it is. Is that the? I know Reem in her last collective, she talked about the reverie or Rivier or something like that. The future memory or a memory of the future. I was like, I thought I saw this. No, I didn't see it, and now here it is. That was just like maybe a fun nod to that. I don't know, but it's interesting that fog and Uranus came out at the cut earlier. And I know Uranus is in Taurus. Oh. Well, we do have Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter. We got the Ace of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune. And like in one way, the winds are moving towards the Wheel of Fortune, and another they're moving away. Now, if the wheel is spinning, it's like depending on where you are, the wind is gonna feel like it's moving in a different direction as the wind like aerodynamically passes over the wheel, which is giving Libra, like the gift of Libra. Sure. The glyph of Libra, the symbol of Libra. They say that it's like air moving over something. Oh, I've heard that. It's like aerodynamic. So it's like as the air is moving over the wheel, if you're situated here, it feels like in the air is moving this way. If you're situated here, it's going to be moving like up. If you're situated here, some of it is going to be coming back down as it comes around. Um, but anyway, I don't know if this fog is heading towards Jupiter because the Wheel of Fortune is here, which would mean that it's like almost some kind of communication between Jupiter or between Pisces and Sagittarius. Kind of sort of within the realm of Pisces, more specifically, the fog of Neptune, and then feminine Jupiter, which houses Pisces, or the waters of Jupiter, which house Pisces, as opposed to the fires of Jupiter that house Sagittarius, or masculine Jupiter that may be Sagittarius. So in that case, Uranus and Saturn would be the only two planets in between Neptune and Jupiter. Saturn is in Pisces. Uranus is in Taurus. Neptune is also in Pisces. Um, Jupiter is in Gemini, squaring Pisces. Astrologically, planetarily, it would pass. Um, Again, planetarily, it would pass Uranus, Saturn to hit Jupiter. But I'm not sure what the heliocentric map looks like. Well, because Jupiter is in Gemini and Uranus is in Taurus, it could still hit that as it goes from Pisces. What's in Aries? Is there anything in Aries? Just air. Nothing. Interesting. There we have Mercury and gold. Mercury came out earlier with the void. All right. There's the glass from yesterday. Sands of creation and the alchemy of glass. What's the alchemy here between? There you go. The alchemy between Virgo, Leo, and Aries. It seems like Aries is always present. It'll be like Aries Leo or Aries Sagittarius. I don't think we've seen. Oh, I hope this doesn't knock the thing over. No, no. I don't think we've seen. Oh my gosh, it's glass again. And then I'm back behind the glass again. Bottom of the deck is against nature. Interesting. Excuse me. I don't even remember what the cards were yesterday. Yesterday, it was the waters of Aries and Cancer. No, the waters of Aries and Gemini and Cancer was also there. 1, 3, and 4 of water. We have the 1 of air today. So again, Aries is present. The air of Aries is interesting because Aries is such a newborn, fresh energy, because it's the first sign on the wheel. It's just open, I guess. Like literally the beginner's mind. There are no, unless you like baby geniuses, if y'all have seen the movie, up until like the age of 2, babies have access to, they're fresh out of the all. So they still have all the access to all that information that they would have had. And so it's like, babies are geniuses. They have all this knowledge, but when they turn 2, I think it was the age of 2 in the movie, that's when they start to that's when they basically forget everything and then start learning all over. They like lose all that information because now they are firmly human. Uh, you know, they're not as fresh. So they got to dump old information to make room for new information. The contra naturam with this glass, though, and then here's the sap of the moonflower. I think sap of the moonflower came out with Pluto. Yeah, because it was Chiron, Pluto, and Chiron, Pluto, and Saturn that came out. There were like 7 alchemy cards that came out in the final card, and 3 of them were planets, and then the bottom of the deck was Jupiter. Now this looks like the Mortifactio of the Void. Maybe that's what this is. Because it's like you have this glass, and then you see this void. With Contra Naturam. It's almost like it's where you would see the miraculous, or where you would see that which defies cause and effect, or the natural order of things. Which I feel like it speaks of the nature of the glass or the lens that you're looking through, or that one would be looking through. Because it's almost like it could see pasts, presents, and futures, but on a certain timeline or destiny line. And like we saw the Archangel Commander yesterday, and how it came out with like, those are the spaces where the divine empowers us to, I guess after the divine implores us to do something ourselves, to DIY. So we DIY something, and then we come into a space or an ability to defy destiny, or to defy fate, not destiny, to defy fate. And the delineator between destiny and fate is almost like, um, based on who we are and how we make choices and decisions. If there is a knowing of every challenge or most challenges that we're going to come across, and there's a knowing of who we are, fate is what we're going to do when we encounter each opportunity or each challenge. If we are fairly predictable, like, that fate is more solidified because we're not going to do anything crazy, right? It's like somebody cuts you off in traffic, you're going to scream and rant in the car because that's what you do, right? It's not unexpected for you to like have this whole meltdown, and then your whole day is ruined, and you come into work with this attitude, and there's someone who's going through something, and you give them attitude, and they're going through something, and it makes things worse because your day was ruined the moment you got cut off, because you're the type of person that allows that to ruin your whole day. So now, even if you were scheduled to have this amazing meeting or to have this fated encounter or whatever, your day is already ruined. That opportunity is ruined. You're not going to take it. You are fated to miss this opportunity because you're going to get cut off. But you go through your Archangel Commander moment, you learn how to breathe, or you learn how to not allow one thing to ruin your whole day. So now maybe your day is whatever. You have this opportunity. You're able to recognize it, pull yourself out of that, be present for the opportunity. And now you do this thing. It's like you go off script because your day was still supposed to be ruined. You were supposed to have an attitude, and you were supposed to be like off-putting or whatever, or not even listen to this person. But you did the thing that you don't usually do. And now you become like a fate buster or whatever. You become proficient in being in the moment and not falling into the flow of the day to day. The flow of the day to day feels like that's Virgo. So the fire of Virgo would be being in the moment. Almost like a sort of presence, but not, I don't know, it's not like a bland presence. It's like a spicy presence. It's like a spicy presence. Like like a spontaneous type presence. You know what I mean? This video is not sponsored by Circle or anybody else. I'm just drinking it. um so yeah. So these black spots, it's almost like these are the spots where miracles can occur. These are the voids that are rife with potential. Is it rife with potential or rife with potential? Either. Those are the voids that are capable of blossoming things, but it's like our nature. Our nature is to go about life in a certain way. And so it's almost like with this glass, I wonder if something will be like either sparkly or muted. The fire of Leo was like warm and embracing, almost like the fire of Cancer. But the fires of Cancer, like there's a difference. The fire of Cancer feels like it's a fire that takes one out of the cold. It's a fire that warms one's bones. It's like on a cold day, if you have super hot chocolate, that's the fire of Cancer. You don't necessarily want super hot chocolate in the middle of a heat wave, because then you're going to be sweating from the inside out. There's a time and a place for everything. The fire of Leo, though, it's just like warm and embracing. It's like uh, a hoodie on a not particularly hot day. It's something warm, but still pleasant. And then the fire of Virgo again, the fire of Virgo is almost coming off like it feels very almost sporadic, like it flares and then it goes out. But that's because the fires of Virgo It's like that thing that has the opportunity to change your day-to-day life in a way that is like really exciting and really pleasant. Almost like a honeymoon phase type of fire. But honeymoon phase fire feels more like lackadaisical. It feels more like vacationy. The fire of Virgo feels like very active, but it's like you get a new job that you love, and so you love doing the work, and so like like that kind of fire. But this coming out maybe because it's partnered with Leo, or maybe because of the shift of the Wheel of Fortune followed by this Ace of Swords, Heir of Aries. Maybe this is this. This is the glass. This subtle sense that allows one to sort of like see the play behind the scenes. That's this. And it allows one again to see this is almost like nodes of destiny or nodes on a timeline. Like it's almost like a choose your own adventure type thing where you make a choice and then the story plays out and then you make another choice and either the story will continue or you'll get this alternate pathway or whatever. Those nodes where things can change in the glass, they would appear different than their surroundings, either dark or shiny or whatever. It's dark here, but it feels like they could be shiny. So what is the alchemy and the antimony is there as this like white wolf? So either dark or they just look different than their environment. What's the alchemy of these two? Excuse me. And it feels like the Heir of Aries and the Wheel of Fortune is the result of the alchemy of glass more so than like a definer of it. The alchemy of glass will give you that subtle sense to see those winds that change or that move the wheel. I want a clean flip or a clean fall. Please keep it on the table, please. No, it was a dirty flip, and I let it hit the table. This is so interesting that vinegar is at the bottom of the deck now because vinegar was so huge earlier. It was an energy of something that was like vinegar and its ability to overpower, but it didn't feel like vinegar. It was just like it can overpower like vinegar. This is 3 cards. So Jupiter came out and I was like, oh, no. But we have conjunction and coagulation. Conjunction and coagulation are interesting. Oops. So I might take them. I think I'm going to take them. I think I will. Jupiter is number 6. Coagulation is number 66. LXVI 66. 666 and 71. Wow. 666. 71. Vinegar is number 34, if you're curious. LX 50 plus 10 plus 5 plus 1. Yeah, 66. We saw 44 and 55, I believe, earlier. Jupiter with conjunction and coagulation is interesting. That I feel like that's why vinegar is at the bottom of the deck. Under vinegar is the uncreated increatum number 43. 43 and 34 mirrors. Now we saw 23 and 22. What is that? We saw 23 and 32 earlier. And it was 3 X's, 2 I's versus 2 X's, 3 I's. So there was like a mirror in that. Mirrors are interesting lately specifically because I'm using a deck that uses Roman numerals or decks that use Roman numerals. A mirror in Roman numerals isn't necessarily the same as a mirror in whatever the name of the digits that we use is. It's like alphanumeric. I don't know. But these are a mirror, even though they don't look like it. I think there was something here. There's an energy here of a potential uncontrollable aggregation of some sort. It's like with conjunction, there are things that come in, and then with coagulation, they sort of like amass. And so it's like it's coming in and it's amassing and coming in and amassing, and it's like it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like it's the expansive nature of Jupiter. But depending on what it is, you don't necessarily want it to grow out of control, because that can throw a biome or an environment out of balance. And that's why vinegar is here, and its tendency to become too much, or how measured you have to be with it because of its ability to overpower, because of its nature to overpower. And so there isn't anything that necessarily, it feels like maybe in its default aspect, in its earthly nature, Virgo is a good, I almost want to say foil to Leo. But if you, if Leo can bring Virgo into the mix, it is just going to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow, which may not be a bad thing, depending, right? What's interesting here, this is still too many cards. I can read all the taglines, right? If I read all the taglines, I'm going to put my finger on them first so I can go from one right into the other. LXVI. There we go. And then LXXI. Is that the last card? It looks like it is. Yep. This is the last operation. So we have solidity, adherence, stuckness, partnered with love, divine union, and infinity that grows into the size of expansion, possibility, and fortune. With the warning of, I didn't get vinegar. With the warning of acidity, distillation, and memory. Memory, I feel like has been coming up a lot lately within the past like 36 hours. And it started with a very, very, very crude and highly inappropriate joke that I was sent by one of my buddies. And it was talking about something that's great for memory, but it was great for memory because it caused trauma, one that the person would never forget. So, oops, the mic is there. I'm assuming, also, again, like, shout out to Holly, because I was going to finish that. Who knows how long I would have been live, and then got off, and like the 20 minutes would have been recorded because it was buffering for the last hour and a half. It's interesting that we have this stuckness with love and divine union. Coagulatio is the great alchemical operation of earth. Maybe. Coagulatio is the great alchemical operation of earth. By way of this operation, we experience that which was fluid churning into a solid formation. The formerly disparate ingredients begin adhering together into a fixed and solid unit. The result is visible, reliable, and eventually concrete. When you hear the phrase, it is finally taking shape, coagulation is underway. The shadow aspect of coagulatio is that the elements may have come together without much awareness, and in turn, they become unconsciously attached. Inertia and resentment set in. The parts can no longer separate, even if they wish to. Many long term relationships have coagulatio aspects, a naturally occurring codependency by which both parties feel unseen or unknown as individuals. The work of coagulatio is to experience the merging with other while not losing oneself in the mush. And then it's like, conjunctio is the great alchemical operation of love. During this stage, we witness the miraculous work of two opposites merging to create a unique third form. Sun and moon unite to reveal the entire cosmos. Black and white unite to reveal the spectrum of color. Unlike coagulatio, conjunctio represents a conscious and benevolent union, one that springs forth from awareness, acceptance, and devotion. It is not a compromise, but rather an activation, a holding of tension and presence that allows each of the entities to thrive and express themselves. Experiencing conjunctio is one of the blessings of the human experience, whether the bond is with human, nature, or divinity. Recognize it by the stirring of your heart and an element of surprise. Through the opposites arise the infinite. And then again, this coalesces into, I'm trying to like, there we go. Jupiter is often a welcome sight, emerging from the darkness, shimmering with possibilities. It is the planet of growth, expansion, success, and elevation. When this card appears, the future is full and bright, perhaps even dazzling. Everyone wants to be around Jupiterian energy and to claim a little for themselves, so there is likely a magnetic feeling at play. The work is to keep Jupiter's bigness in balance during the wave of expansion that's taking place. Its shadow is most easily seen in celebrity culture, excess consumption, and messaging of never enough. You may begin comparing yourself with others or assessing your value. Don't double judge yourself for this. Jupiter happens. Instead, realign with the benevolent message in your heart. What truly needs expanding? It's likely not your followers or your bank account. And this converge on vinegar if we're not careful. The tongue knows vinegar. Even the suggestion of receiving a few drops into the mouth reminds us of vinegar's sour and lip puckering qualities. In alchemy, vinegar serves as an active agent of distillation, fermentation, and preservation. It is incredibly useful when applied in the right amounts and with intention. This said, it can be easily overused, overwhelming the situation at hand. When the vinegar card is present in a reading, it indicates a sour note permeates the laboratory. It is likely something from the past is showing up in the present and demanding our attention. It is in vinegar's nature to take over, to overwhelm. Be cautious with this material. A little goes a long way. As they say, it is productive to look at your past but not stare. Such is the complex energy of vinegar. And then in Creatum, the uncreated is behind that. I'll just read the taglines. I won't do the full thing. I like reading. I love to read. What did Matilda say? The unconceived, the seed of the seed, is in Creatum, which is interesting because the seed came out in the what unknown archetypes like twice. Cool. Oops. So there's a degree of consciousness. There's a degree of awareness and unawareness here. So because of conjunctio conjunction, this energy, the alchemy that occurs between the fire of Leo and the fire of Virgo, it doesn't need an external energy to ground it. It feels like if the Virgo and the fire of Virgo is still present. Even though Virgo's in its fire here, it can still be enough to, it's almost preferred because of the mutability of Earth in Virgo. And the Six of Wands, I've never thought of the speed of the procession in the Six of Wands. It doesn't feel like a fast one. Like this feels like a very steady procession through this crowd from point A to point B. And in proper balance, with this Jupiter in its proper balance, it leaves enough space for the seed of the seed to be created within Creatum, for the uncreated to be created. It almost makes me think of something that's like a slippery slope, where it's like how like in all of someone's excitement, how they could like rush right past something and not notice an opportunity, like a branching off point. But like if Virgo can remain, I don't want to say meticulous because it doesn't necessarily feel like it has to be that extreme. If Virgo can remain grounded, then it feels like Virgo would notice that. Leo might be, it's like, it feels like Leo was already like living or thinking like 5, 10, 20 steps, years, hours ahead. because this feels like it's Leo in its exaltation, or Leo in its excitement. And when Leo's excited, sometimes there are like the little details that get forgotten about. That's why Leo has like assistants and stuff like that, you know. Leo has people to be mindful of the details, which is usually Virgo, but now Virgo's excited. Virgo's like, yeah, I'm on board. Let's do it. Virgo's like, oh my gosh, I was ready to quit. I was like at the end of my rope. I am 1,000% behind this. Like, let's do it. Like Virgo was ready to like be mutable. Virgo's like, I may be an earth sign, but I'm still mutable. So yeah, I think again, like if the Virgo in this, it doesn't have to be so realistic that it's incredibly attached to the past and how things work in the past, but it's grounded enough that it can provide a touch point to reality, which can make something like it brings it into reality, right? Cool. Is this what's needed? Is the fire of Leo and the fire of Virgo needed? Like the fire of Virgo is also like an energy that's something like New Year's resolutions. Again, it's like when someone is excited about when there's a change that someone's making to their day-to-day life, or just some aspect of someone's day-to-day life that they're like passionate and excited about. Like, yeah, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to do this. Even though it's like something that becomes routine, there's still like passion and fire there. It doesn't, um, it's like it's still active energy. It doesn't go inert. Cool. This is it. I don't know if, yeah, that's fine. I was going to say, I don't know, like, if I'm reading these how I want to read them, you know? Maybe I'm building up to it. I'm discovering still how I want to elements and zodiacs. And earlier, because they're privated now, I was also saying how there have been a few. It came to my mind earlier how there have been a few readings that have preceded this style that I want to explore. Um, and it started from what I can remember with the capital I versus the EYE, when we were starting to look at elements as functions of other elements. And it was an energy of how it's like when we understand the four elements as they are, but we also begin to understand the four elements as like when the depth of our understanding of the four individual elements started to enter that space where it's like we could see the play between like fire and earth, or water and air, like the water of air, the fire of air, the air of air, the earth of air, for all four, then it almost naturally leads to this greater understanding of energy in general, regardless of the element that it manifests into. So, like unaspected elemental energy, ether, whatever. Before, it's almost like there's a certain understanding of cells that you can get from like a skin cell or a heart cell or a brain cell, or like even a sperm cell or an egg. But like to understand a stem cell, like a pluripotent stem cell, a stem cell or a cell that hasn't yet decided where in the body it's going to go, what kind of cell it's going to be, you know. That's when we get to the fetus, the blastocyst. of life, but like energetically, you know. So anyway, I'm gonna have to potty here soon. So let's do final cards. Do we need to do final cards? Or can I just sit in this? I got a potty. I will at least get a final alchemy. The other ones, oof, I may not even get a final alchemy. I think that was it. I hope y'all have an amazing whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I hope that whatever you need along your path journey and what you find. Until next time, bye.